Hey everyone, it's Tim at Falconite, and I'm back with a bit of a channel update and then also a replay video of in Advanced Wars Amarriner Cup match. If you want to skip to that, go right ahead. But I guess for the channel update, so I'm planning on restarting, starting up Season 4 of Road to 1K starting this Friday. So yeah, expect an episode of that this Friday night at Central Standard Time. And then, in addition to that, I'm also going to be doing basically what I did for the Egg Cup for Amarriner Cup. And I'm going to be putting out videos for that every time I finish up a match. There's only 5 matches if I get all the way through the tournaments, so this should be a smaller series, which is why I'm adding a couple of exhibition matches if I see anything that's interesting, like this one will be, because I'm not actually done with my first match today. But to start with, so what is Amarriner Cup? Well, if you haven't been on Advanced Wars by Web for a little while, you wouldn't know that. Well, honestly, I don't think most people would have been playing in the Open Cup, because it's been, the last one started in like November of 2019, so it's been a few years. I feel like I really started playing at the start of last year, or no, I'd say 21. At the start of 21 was when I got a little bit more into this. Well, the start of last year is when I started actually doing stuff with my channel, but start of 21 was when I got a little more active on this site. So this is actually the first time that I've actually sort of been involved on an on-site tournament. Like, there was that cup, obviously, but this is the first like semi-official tournament thing. As you can see here, there are 6 divisions, and well, we can just go through the document here, I guess. So what is the Advanced Wars by Love Legends Tournament Series? Well, it's being hosted by JMB, or JJ Empire 64, who does the graphics for the site. He's organizing it, and well, basically it's going to be running tournaments every month or two, and it's going to be rotating in the order of standard, fog, high funds, and then just random bullshit. So honestly, I'm really excited for the Black Cup, because it'll just be funny, and I'll be able to actually, I feel like I'll be able to make a bunch of random videos on it, even more than I'm going to be doing for this one. So they're hosted through tournaments. If you look at the tournament interface here, this waiting tournaments section up here is where you would sign up for it if there was, if you could still sign up for it. Obviously, enrollment is closed for this first cup, but I guess check back at the end of every month or so. I'll probably make a video covering when the next one is, so I guess you could subscribe to my channel if you want some updates on it. But also, a good resource for this would be being on the Advanced Wars by Love Discord. Is there an easy way? I think it's maybe Discord chat? Yeah. So Discord chat there can get you into the Discord, I think. Yeah. So just click on that link and you get the invite for the Discord, and then there's an announcements page, obviously. So you can be notified when the next one comes up. And yeah, so tournament format is a bit interesting. It's based off of your maximum global league rating. So that's interesting. Oh, also, I think if you want to play in the future, you need to complete a minimum of 25 games on the site in order to register. But that's any game. It doesn't have to be like globally, I don't think. So Yeah, because there is no minimum rating requirement. I've seen people without actual any shifts at all in their ratings, so I believe that's in tier. Yeah, that's in Division 6. If you don't really play League, but 25 games on the site is required, which honestly it's just practice rounds. You can just go to games, join game, and then there's a bunch of just Z games usually randomly that you can just join and practice for. That's what I did before I started doing live league stuff. And yeah, so well, I'll get to that in a bit. How do I know when it starts? Well, basically, if you sign up, you're gonna get a notification in your games page at games waiting to start, like you normally do for like any global league games. So that'll be easy. Draws. Oh yeah, draws is based off of captured properties, and or something based on replays. So there are technically no draws to this. They don't. And also, the tournaments won't impact your win-loss on your profile or for Global League, obviously. But you do have a tournament profile page that gives you your overall separate win-loss record for other tournaments, which is interesting and cool. Power maps in CO and select. Oh, well, that's it's map committee stuff. I don't know all of that. So, basically, the rules set for this is mainly just, it's basically just Global League rules with half the timer. And like I said with Egg Cup, you really shouldn't be signing up for a tournament like this unless you can play at least one time a day. Obviously, you shouldn't be like, you don't need to play one time a day. Like you can take breaks and stuff because based on the timer. But like you really shouldn't be doing. You should be generally aiming to have like at least a day a turn. I mean a turn a day. And if you can front load that a bit earlier, turns go by faster as well. So, but obviously you sort of want to. Well, I'm not going to go into it. So, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and show off. Well, no, I'll go and see the map first because, well, I go back and forth. But this is where I am. I'm in bracket C of Division 2. So you can see right there. You may or may not recognize other names on this in this bracket, so keep that is what it is. But the match that we're going to be looking into today is actually from bracket D, and it's going to be this match between B12 and P954, and I'll get into that later. Start out with so the maps. This is a 5-round tournament, and the first map is a tier 3 match on the map Partridge Brews, Black Bombs, and the Stelter Band. And it has a 35-day limit actually. 35 property capture limit. I don't think it matters too much because like that's basically all the properties. So you're probably going to get to the day limit or HQ cap before that happens, or you'll just resign because honestly, like just getting your production properties captured is something that will matter. But excuse me. So Archer Troops is a mixed base map. It actually, honestly, it's kind of designed a lot like a iPhone's map, actually, which is very interesting. It's got 4 bases, you got the 2 base cluster next to your HQ, and then you got your, I I guess, tertiary bases next to the airports on the borders of your enemy's main production hub over here. And then you also have the comm towers over here as well. So it's a very centrally located map. Like most of your main play is going to be aggression coming from your center hub here and then targeting either the north here or the south here. And then you could also move to contest this choke point area in the center here, but honestly, it's a bit too hard to traverse. So this isn't a and because your enemy has two bases here, you're not going to really want to move into this area unless you're either really far ahead. Well, mainly if you're just really far ahead and you want to start pushing your opponent to resign. And yeah, because it has two airports, you might think that battlecopter spam is something that's viable, and it is to an extent, but you need to wait until you have enough money to actually afford it, because your opponent can just build an anti-air from this base here especially, but also this one, and it can just zone out anything that you throw from either of these airports. You can just head straight there. So you need to back it up with tanks at the very minimum. You can't really just start with just a battlecopter. Of course, building a battlecopter here is basically forcing your opponent to build an anti-air here, so keep that in mind, because there is a utility to that if you need it. These comm towers are sort of out of the way, but it's honestly, I feel like it's more likely for a player that has their main base on that side of the map to take that. So I've usually seen player 1 take this map, this comm tower, and player 2 grab this one. This is player 1, this is player 2. Other things, like this area is a choke point, and then there's a lot of choke pointy stuff around this area as well. And then you can sort of do a little bit of choke pointy stuff in this like mountain range area over here by the other base, but it's a lot more open than these other two areas. You can also like fairly easily get a artillery from this base to base lock this guy with the artillery in like 2 turns, and it's very hard for your opponent to get a tank out to counter that. So that sort of forces your opponent to build a battlecopter here, which you can sort of play around. I've seen at least one match in which that works. Not this match, but at least one match in which that works. That's basically it. You could also do the same thing from this base with an artillery push down this way, or even towards this way, theoretically, but like it's a lot more open, and you have to be a lot more careful about it if you're doing that. I wouldn't do that for okay. I would start with tank. Obviously, you kind of just want to start with tanks, but yeah. So I guess we can go with the CO selection now, and this is all sort of preliminary, by the way. In that I haven't finished my match yet, and I've only seen a couple of matches go to their full fruition, but I think I have a general idea of what you want to do for this type of map. So you basically have to pick between any of these tier 3 COs, but because it's mixed base, you're going to be seeing a lot more of a reliance on day-to-day abilities. If you were seeing like if this were tier 2, Eagle's Lightning Strike is like good enough that it might be. Well, actually, I'm not even going to talk about tier 2 because it doesn't matter here. But mainly, you're going to be wanting to focus on day-to-day bonuses rather than walking superpowers. So that kind of gets rid of Andy, Drake, and Rachel off the bat. You don't really want Drake either because this is a 2 airport map, so that's going to matter a lot. And then Andy and Rachel, I feel like they just don't have enough firepower. And then that sort of leaves you with a decision between Kindle and Lash. I personally went with Lash because, like, just look at all the terrain here. There's a bunch of forests next to the properties as well. Like, a lot of properties have forest next to them that you can contest from. Which gives Lash a very good advantage, even like without that calm power. But once she gets the calm power, she's able to contest these very easily. Whereas Kindle needs her power totally. And she does have a relatively cheap power, so she can save up enough to be able to push effectively with it, and push effectively with it consistently as well, depending on how you and your opponent play around your meters. But I feel like Lash is just overall very, very strong at this map. Especially because her power allows her to just zoom through these forests. That's very, very, very useful, as you will see in this map, actually. So, yeah. Then I'll go to map analysis to back this up. Oops, this part beta. Yeah. Okay, that's different than what I saw earlier today. But I do believe that overall player 2 does have an advantage here, and I will get into that as well in the replay. But as you can see here, Andy is at 42% win rate, Drake is at 46, and freaking Rich is at 32. Because this isn't live. If this were live, Rich would be pretty. It's not live. And then you see Kindle at 59 and Flash at 61. So that gives you a general idea of how good COs are on this map. So yeah, where's the match? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get right into it then. So, starting up, I'm going to comment a little bit on just how in favor of player 2 this match is, because like, as you saw at the beginning, player 1 actually doesn't even start with 3 bases. They only start out with 2, and like they're able to pick them up very quickly. But as you can see here, like player 2 was able to just start pushing in this area really quickly as well. So it feels almost like player 2 has the first turn advantage almost on this map, which is very interesting. And then if you look at the like income totals, Kindle could have built a tank here, but she would not have had enough money to be able to afford another tank next turn to chain off of it, which becomes super important in a second, because P-Dog here is going to be able to do just that, actually. He's going to have enough money to... he's going to be able to afford a tank plus 3 infantry on all of his bases, so he doesn't have to base skip at all for 2 turns in a row, because he has the income, especially because of that infantry all the way up here, is very coming in useful. And yeah, so this map is, I feel like this map is very tilted towards player 2. I mean, it shows up as basically a 50-50, but I feel like it should be something like a 55-45 almost, if you're playing correctly. Beat 12 went for the artillery here, which it's okay. I don't think it's the correct response for this tank though, but it will prevent P-Dog from just entering this area with the tank. But because of the tank, like he has the tank here, he needs to build in order to counter the tank here, and he has to pull his infantry from here instead of just sending it over here to capture this property center. So that's already ruining his capture game. So honestly, should have just gone for the tank to start out with, and then based off of that, just gone for tanks wherever it would be needed to counter wherever P-Dog advances towards. Like he could have even gone for a battlecopter this turn if he wanted to back up his tank from, if he decided to go south, maybe. And I know I said the tanks before the battlecopters, but that would sort of force him to go for the anti-airs, which would slow him down a bit. So, as you can see here, P-Dog's being very good with the captures, and he's using his tanks in such a way that he's basically preventing Beats from taking too many properties. Like, he's going to be able to just move in and get free hits on the infantry, his tanks. And that's sort of what you want to do when you're playing against Kindle, because it neuters your capture game, and it also just starves her of meter, because Kindle's powers are very annoying if you have to deal with them, but like if you can starve her of meter, she doesn't really need. She's kind of dead in the water almost, because especially against Flash, because that day-to-day firepower bonus for Flash, it just adds up, especially if you bring in all of these forests and everything in this map. Comes to the occasion. P-Dog, I'm not sure if I like this move or not. He falls back with the infantry, so that he can cover it with the anti-air, so that it's at full health still, and doesn't have to worry about the battlecopter getting a free hit on it. I'm not sure if I like that, or if he should have gone for just the cap here. But I think it's fine either way. It's not. It's basically delaying the 2 turns worth of income. He's basically just delaying the capture for 2 turns, so it's 2k income at the cost. It's a cost of 2k income to maintain the full health of this infantry, basically. Which honestly, I feel like it's probably worth it, just for sheer unit count and yeah. And it also, P-Dog doesn't really need the income that heavily quite yet. As you can see here, Mr. Beat 012 went for a medium tank over here, which I think is fine, because he's got a lot. Because P-Dog's got a lot of light vehicles in this area. He's got so if Beat can basically chase out this tank, sort of contest this area as well a little bit, based off of what P-Dog decided to make, obviously, which I think he's going for a medium tank this turn anyways. Also, keep in mind that Flash does get a significant firepower boost on cities. It's almost as good as Kindle's day-to-day, so not second to that. So this is actually guaranteed, funnily enough. Like 30% firepower on cities is still really, really good. And if you combine that with like the wall breaking abilities of being able to attack from planes with 1 con tower, and we are basically anything on the cities, like it's very good with 2 attacks anyways. So B12 has a pretty good thing going on here with like the tanks and the artillery, that he just has this nice little block here that he's keeping this area under control with. But like honestly, if he didn't have his artillery, he'd be able to just move in with the tanks. I feel like the tanks would be a lot freer to move around, and they'd be able to contest a lot larger of an area, which would make it so that Beat might actually be ahead in income, a little bit more ahead in income than P-Dog is about to he's about to widen the income gap here. So yeah, knocks off that weakened infantry. And oh yeah, the other thing is that like he has the tank here now, sure, but like just getting the battlecopter by itself here, you're basically inviting the anti-air to come here, just roll on in here and start taking out your infantry if you don't have any tanks in here. Back them up and prevent, and just basically defend from the anti-air. So that's pretty important here. And he's moving in with the infantry, lining up for an attack on these properties, these 2 properties here. And he goes for a second anti-air as well, both to chase out this battlecopter and to like push in against these infantry a little bit. maybe force him to build a tank or something. So honestly, I like the anti-air here. He moves in, takes off the infantry here. Honestly, well, I think he backs him up with the artillery, so that's fine. He can't really, B-Dog can't really move in against that. So he's sort of locking down this top base here. But honestly, that's not really where, this area up here isn't really something that he should be worried about. He should be worried about this infantry blob down here, this infantry blob over here. All the tanks in this area pushing against his infantry over here. Like, he's got 2 tanks in the area, 3 tanks even. And they're only, his infantry over here are only going to be defended by 1, maybe 2 tanks. So, I don't like that. He goes for this attack as well, and this just shows off how completely mid Kindo's firepower is, especially when attacking into cities. Like, if she's not in a city, it's going to be very, very bad. Let's just put it that way. So, P-Dog is moving in a lot with all of his stuff, taking, again, a lot of engagements against the infantry, just whittling them down, basically for free. Like, there's not too much that Beat can do in a counterattack over here, because he's got 3 tanks here. Like, what's he going to do against that? And then he's also got an infantry line down here. He's definitely going to need to try and push into this and prevent these caps, but like, there's not too much that he can do. He moves the battlecopter out of range of this anti-air. It's definitely out of range. And he takes a bit of a few good engagements against the infantry. He moves the medium tank back here to deal with this tank blob. And actually pushes in against this blob over here. Which, like, if he was going to do that, he should have moved in with the artillery as well. Test this a little bit more. Yeah, I think he's scared a little bit of the helicopter, and he definitely should have gone for an anti-air in at least one of these bases instead of the double artillery here. Like, I don't know what he's thinking with the double artillery. He needs something to contend this battlecopter, and he's got 2 battlecopters, I guess. But, like, anti-air is going to be so much more effective at doing that. But whatever. So, P-Dog decides to take some engagements here, move in here, join cap there, take out that infantry, actually, which I'm not sure if this is a roll or not. It might be a roll. Let's see. It's based on entirely off of luck damage. So, based off of, I forget what the other engagement was that he took against this infantry, but I'm assuming that it would have done enough to where this is relatively consistent. Not that it matters too much, as you will see in a second here, because he's going for a really baller move here. Honestly, he's going for this. Now, why is he going for this? Well, see this guy here? You see these 2 forests here? And this is guaranteed to keep the anti-air alive here. Well, not guaranteed, but it's very, very likely that to keep the anti-air hero alive here. So that's relatively important as well. And it's weakening up this guy. So he's going for another attack over here. I think attacking from the city is the right move here, because even though Kindle's about to get the urban blight here, attacking like this is basically just throwing the tank away. Because of the medium tank here. So if you're going for a meter like that, you're sort of assuming that this guy's going to go down. So may as well do as much damage to the tank as you can. and he's able to actually get enough meter to pop a terrain tactics. He was halfway to it at the start of this turn, but 2 meters is honestly not that much, especially when you're dealing with stuff like medium tanks in the mix. They start throwing stuff around, so he's able to just get rid of that pesky battlecopter. Probably should have attacked from the forest here, but whatever, it's not that big of a deal. And he's able to actually just finish off the medium tank here with his medium tank attacking from the forest with like plus 40, I think, firepower at this point. So that's basically guaranteed on against the guy in the plains. And he moves into the infantry here as well. It's a guard. Guard the anti-air here. Takes a few more engagements, goes over the mountains with a lot of this stuff. He's backing up his infantry artillery here as well. So, very good plays all around. This is like such a good turn. Honestly, like this by itself, basically just won him the match. I think he was in the lead before, but now he's just won, basically. So I'm gonna try and make the rest of this match as fast as I can. But basically, he gets a relatively good urban blight off. Well, no, actually, this is a really crappy urban blight. He's not able to do anything with it. It damages it basically just damages what P-Dog built last round. This guy on the city as well. Honestly, he probably should have moved him like there instead of into the city. In hindsight, but that's not that big of a deal. The guy on this city was going to die anyways due to the medium tank plus the tank. This guy's not reach, right? Yeah, reach. And then this guy's able to cap anyways due to the joint cap, so doesn't matter too much. He went for that's a really bad engagement. Like, why would you just wait with your infantry up? It's not like it's the medium tank's at 1 health, and you can theoretically take it out with like a luck roll from the infantry. You're just weakening your infantry by doing that. This is a medium tank, not a tank. So. Oh, and it's on the forest, and he's getting luck bonus defense from the power. Like, why would you take that engagement? Like, it's already at 4 health. It's not gonna be doing too much as it is anyways. And if you're not able to kill it, like, I don't see the point. So P-Dog is just moving in with his light vehicles at this point. Like, it's a 5 unit count gap and unit basically even value on the board before P-Dog builds this turn. So that should tell you a lot about the game state. Like, it's very much over at this point. Like, if P-Dog made a huge mistake and put all of his units in range of like a really good urban white push, maybe he could throw the game theoretically, but like at this point he's basically won. So moving in for replacement medium tank over here, and finally getting the anti-air. He should have gotten that last turn instead of this artillery. I don't know why he didn't do that, because he had the battlecopter coming down from here anyways. Like, there's no point in not doing the anti-air there. You can't really attack into the anti-air with a battlecopter. You're gonna lose the battlecopter by doing that. So yeah, but he's trying his hardest to stay alive here, but like this push is going nowhere. Like, this goes to show just how hard it is for Kindle to attack into cities, even with an extra clock tower. Like, she just doesn't have the firepower to deal with that. And it becomes super important, especially when you're behind by like a turn of income and units. Yeah, P-Dog basically is able to just wipe up at this point. I kind of want to skip through the turn, but like it doesn't matter too much. She's getting a decent push But yeah, this is a very good push over here. But like falling back with the battlecopter, obviously, because of the anti-air. Just moving back and then threatening these other guys over here. Very basic plays. And it's basically just wiping out the remaining units at this point. So. Oh, and Kindle's Urban Blight here is actually really effective as well. Like this guy was at 7 damage here, but like this is Kindle's firepower on City, so it's not even something to be underestimated. Like he's able to take out. I think that might just be because it's weakened, but like even a 4 health. Yeah, because it's weakened. But even a 4 health Kindle Anti-Air can do a ton of damage if it's on a City with her power. I think Urban Blade gives you something crazy like, yeah, plus 80% firepower. So even if you're weakened, your units are super weakened, they're like insanely good on the offensive on your cities. And because of a defensive bonus, this is like 40% defense total. I think he might be able to push in with the tank here. But it's, well, yeah, I'll be able to kill, I guess. So, not like the most durable thing in the world because it's weakened. So, that obviously ruins your defense. But other than that, it's not like the end of the world. So, he's pushing in with like his tanks and stuff. Yeah, honestly, I should just keep on clicking and not pause that just to get through this faster. But I will just be pointing out stuff when I see it. Oh, the recon I like. The recon play I like because he had the battlecopter in the area to theoretically threaten here because of its anti-air was like here. He doesn't really want the base block if he doesn't have to. So because the recon is a very cost-effective way of dealing with battlecopters because they take less damage from them than tanks even, which is surprising. And all he had to deal with really in this area was infantry anyways. So if you're on a budget like Beat is, because it's down like crazy, recons are actually a pretty decent option. Obviously not optimal. It's not something you really will want to do unless you need to save money. The tank would be better if he could have afforded it, but it's still good for like just saving costs. And honestly, it's good for being able to save up for like neo tanks or medium tanks on your like next few needs. So it's not like that bad. Or even like extra battlecopters on a map like this where you have a ton of production. It takes up the anti-air there. And yeah, he's just being able to move around. He's not even bothering with the recon really because it's not that much of a threat. Two tanks. And it's not even worth that much either, so. Yeah, he hit the number Urban Blight off. And this was a bit better than the last one. Like this tank took a bit of a hit. A lot of the units in production took hits. This guy took a hit, I think, and this guy took a hit. So that was a much better Urban Blight. But I feel like he still didn't really take much advantage of the city firepower bonus. Like he's not even able to. Like you can see P-Dog building up artillery and an artillery and medium tank block to start pushing into this center area to deal the final blow and like body block his production centers here. Honestly, for rockets wouldn't be even that bad because rockets, now that I'm looking at it, they can get here in one turn from this base and sort of block this base actually. Now that I think about it. And obviously they can get up to like here even if you have Flash's power ready. So you can move from here to here. If you have this area for a under a block. That's interesting actually. I might use that now that I think about it. We'll see. But he's able to move in with the medium tanks, follows up with the artillery here as well. And as you can see here, it's only I honestly would have expected him to be able to take out the infantry here, but like at 2 or 3 health, even with the crazy bonuses from the mountain and the extra firepower and defense from the power, it's still not enough to really do much. Honestly, he might have wanted to move in with this guy, because he's still got 50%. Although the issue, of course, obviously, is that there's these 2 artillery here, so that's not the most. One of them is a Kindle. One of them being a Kindle artillery on the city, so that one is a bit of a threat. Now that I think about it. And as you can see here, decent damage there, but the Recon's still alive actually. So like, Recon Shan being pretty good here. All things considered, takes out the artillery, making a bit of a breakout push in the north here, but. He's got, like, B-Dog's got so many units in this area, I don't think it's gonna matter. It's definitely not gonna matter. Like, who are you kidding? It's not gonna matter. And he builds a second Neo tank here to sort of try and push into this area. With it, but, I'll wait for it. He's pushing in with infantry, getting the mech here, and then he just body blocks the Neo tank with the battlecopter here. There's no way for him to move in with an anti-air either, so this poor Neo tank is gonna get just stuck there doing nothing. And as you can see, still continuing to just wipe stuff off the map. This guy finishing off that guy from earlier. Because Beat decided to move in with the artillery here, which I think was a good move as well. I'm not saying that's a bad move, because he sort of needs to cover the Neo tank as best as he can. Although this guy's kind of exposed, so it's a bit moot as to whether that actually works all that well. But I think it's only a couple turns left here, so. Gets a decent artillery shot off here, and then popped Urban Blight. Now that I'm looking at this, he should have attacked with the tank here and then attacked from the city with the Neo tank. Even though it's in range of like 2 artillery at that point, like it's going down to it's basically a single artillery blast anyway, so he would have been able to actually just finish that off. He goes for the attack with the Neo tank into the battlecopter, which is optimal actually. Neo tanks can do that. They're not as good as anti-air, but they are able to like take that down. And because on this map you have so much production centers, you can't afford to base block yourself relatively simply. So like base blocking is at the end of the world because you can always just build. So of course he's base blocking with the single tank down here, which is kind of. But moving over by chapters and stuff, takes out that guy with the mech actually. And yeah, just still doing wipe up. He's down to 20 units, 19 units. He's got almost a 20. He's gonna have almost a 20 unit lead at the end of this turn. So yeah, as you can see, he just decided to. Oh, that's not what I have to do. Oh no, I'm gonna pull that back. He decided to resign there. So there. Here's the endgame state. As you can see here, he built Neo tanks and stuff at the end, but like the artillery medium tank push into the center here basically just sealed the deal. He's down significantly in income as well, honestly. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's almost got. P-Dog almost has the property win anyways, so it will only be a couple more turns before that happens. But before that happens, like honestly, P-Dog's gonna be able to go in and take out this. He's going to be able to base block Beats' main base of operations here. He's already sort of doing that. Like, he's got 2 artillery in range of this guy here. And sure, he could move in with like the medium tank and stuff, but like it's just wrong again at no this point. If we go back into the replay, I think that Beach's biggest mistakes were this guy. Definitely should have gone for a tank here, because it's like just artillery are so limited in how much they can threaten. Like, this is how much an artillery threatens. It's like 20-ish squared or something. This is how much. All of this is how much this tank threatens. Like, it's super important to do that. And like, artillery direct units are also able to like block infantry from capping properties, and artillery are sort of able to do the same thing. The only thing is like infantry can get 3 shots off against them. So this was a huge mistake. I think this battlecopter was also a pretty big mistake. Because it allowed P-Dog to just move in with an anti-air down here. It gave him an excuse to put an anti-air here to wipe up his infantry. So I might have gone for a tank here even. Would have been better than the battlecopter here. And then just that amazing push. Turn freaking 11, turn 10 with the power there was just beautiful. That's the main reason I showed off this match, is just that turn. And I'm gonna go ahead and just have this go on in the background while I talk for a little bit. Like, this was such a amazing play. It's just so good. The sacrifice play for meter to take out the battlecopter, take out the medium tank, take out the tank. Like, it's so good. And it was all relatively, he maintained his unit count through all of it as well, which was super important. So yeah, that's basically it for today's match. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna pull up the tournament bracket, because this is where I am today. This is my game day today. I'm assuming that this is going to be over in a little bit, but who knows? We have a longish timer, so it could end up taking a little bit longer. But I am going to be putting out a video on this match as soon as it's done, and obviously you can expect Road to 1K Season 4 starting this Friday. So I guess like, subscribe, and all that nonsense if you want to see more, and I will see you guys later.